Adventure is in my blood. Finding treasures big or small and having fun is what it's all about. With my wife Melissa and our 3 kids, life is pretty full. But there isn't a mountain we can't climb together. This isn't your ordinary antique store. My name is Alex Archbold and this is Curiosity Inc.
You know that moment when you accidentally walk into a choir singing? That's us right now. We're on our way to the museum and parked at City Hall. It just so happened to be a beautiful day here in October. We thought we'd take the family across the street. Can't guarantee if you come to the museum on your own that you'll have a choir greet you, but we did. The Royal Alberta Museum was just completed last year, although it's built in a very sort of typical mid-century style. We are gonna go explore today, although we've been inside, as I gave a speech there last year. We didn't have a chance to actually go to the exhibit, so that's what's happening this morning. It might be a little known fact, but very rarely are any of the dinosaur bones in a museum real. They're casts that are put on display for people to look at, and the real ones are kept in drawers and shelves, kept away. Still fun to see. Hey Jason, you finally found something older than Mom and Dad. Above us is Wap May's airplane. Wap May is famously known as being the last person that the Red Baron, the great Baron von Richthofen, ever chased in battle. And he did not shoot him down, rather he said that he escaped because his flying skills were so poor that the Red Baron probably didn't know what he was doing, and he survived. And that's his plane here on display at the museum. First gallery up, Vikings. Hey Jason, would you say learning about Vikings is riveting? Indeed. Danish axe forged thin and light. It's pretty neat. Every time I see that type of helmet, I think of the Lego guys.
Yeah, that's like a Lego guy helmet, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Look at what good shape these swords are still in. You can see how different metals deteriorate. That the iron really has a tough time, but then you look at the bronze, it's still fine. Okay, Abigail, what's your favorite piece of Viking jewelry in there? I bet you go for the creepy little monkey head or whatever that is. What'd you guys find over here?
Replica swords.
Are you allowed to take it out? Yeah, it's there for you to touch. How heavy is it?
It's really heavy.
Not heavy.
It's pretty heavy.
Let me see it.
Two different stories here.
Let's see.
Sure, the chainmail would give you lots of protection against sword fights, but offers little to the imagination for what you're wearing underneath. So this is a fairly accurate reconstruction of the size of the hull of their ship.
Large canoe.
It's pretty big though, you know, especially for that time. You can walk up and have a look, and they've got this giant screen in the background displaying ocean and lightning, setting the mood. You can see the portion on the bottom there, the what remains of the original hull. And they said this was the longest Viking warship, the Roskilde 6, that they found. And there they are unearthing it, and they built this depiction to show what it would have looked like. It's amazing that that part even survived. So if you move the screen, it shows you what it would have looked like.
I feel slower.
Look, they're all rowing.
Row, row, row your boat.
Pretty neat way to show history. Very interactive. All the various artifacts that were left behind. And look, Abigail. Somebody left behind their ancient Viking MAC lipstick. Leave that there in case they go back for it. They're talking about the daily work of Vikings. They look pleasant enough. It's like the next reality show on TLC. Viking Island. Well, that one Viking is very, I don't think that's life size. That's like a 2-foot tall Viking.
Make them go bigger and then take screenshots into your phone, right?
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, Jason, you're in trouble now. That Viking just grew to like 8 feet tall. Somebody must have added water.
Add water.
Yeah, now you're in trouble.
Oh, look at him.
Where is it?
He's just twirling around.
You're gonna make me dizzy.
Looks like
These
it's
are ornaments and brooches. Very intricate. Very nicely done. And that beadwork, people would still wear that nowadays, wouldn't they?
I would.
Which one would you wear now, Melissa?
Which one? The beaded necklace. Probably that bracelet and the one up from it.
Oh, those two right there?
Yeah. We got all of them.
To start a line of Viking jewelry. That's a goldenrod necklace. Twisted gold. It's got to have had some restoration. I mean, it's amazing that that carving still survives, but I certainly wouldn't have wanted to be the person to move that giant boulder into this museum.
Yeah. Yeah, they still have like a bit of the indentation, but they repainted it.
Family road trips could take a whole new meaning. How easy is it?
It's actually quite easy. I think the...
Is it weighed down like it would be real?
No, there's like cords attached, but I think this one got loosened.
Oh.
Oh,
See, Jason's trying to go faster. They'd be like, hey, you gotta row at the same time.
Go forward.
Yeah.
Go forward. I want to go hit the boat.
They got like a.
Well, the Viking exhibit was pretty fun, but now they found the children's gallery. We're gonna go check this out. This place is infested with bugs. See? The kids are checking out all the cool stuff in the kids gallery, and all I can think is that I want to buy that Volkswagen off their wall. Yeah, look, they have projected ants. Or are those fish?
There's a fish. In
So-
the lower areas.
So if we dig it low, will it sense that it's low and then project something
Yes.
different?
Let's draw a picture of
Oh look, I got it so high that I just looked at
Let's
it
see.
here on this side.
Yeah, getting it high.
That's a buffalo. Buffalo.
Oh, I see what they're doing.
That's actually really cool.
Alright, that's smart. Alright, come on,
It
guys.
was cool enough. Yeah, I saw this. There was something like that.
This ought to be fun. Some people might be afraid to come in here because it's nothing but bug specimens everywhere you go. It's bad enough it's a cockroach, let alone one that hisses. Looks like it's enjoying that orange though. Hey Abigail, is it giving you the creeps in here? These are leaf insects. They're all camouflaged. Can you spot it?
I see one.
There's a big one right there.
Yeah, I know. I saw
Right
it.
in front of
Look,
us.
right in front of us. That one with the legs going
There's
on.
another one right there. They blend in really good.
The one right there.
Oh. And there, I saw that one. Look at that.
You guys ever seen one of these? That's a rhinoceros beetle.
I've seen one
Oh,
of those
I've
before.
I've seen
Is it
They
alive?
are. They
Yeah, it's alive.
Those are big.
I would not want to find one of those in my shoe. Like put my shoe on and that's waiting for me.
I mean,
We don't.
Oh.
Big brothers. These are kind of funny looking guys. They almost look like ants, but they're actually called a stalk-eyed fly. Let's see. Males use their eye stalks to compare body sizes rather than fight. If rivals are evenly matched, their dances can end in a scuffle. If they're not, the smaller one quietly retreats. I think that's how I'd want to get out of a fight. Just dance off. You know, you kind of look at each other and then you dance to decide who's going to win.
What is this?
They're flies. Abigail is getting more and more intense as we walk around through here.
Look at you.
We'll-
Look at you.
Abigail, they're all inside of glass. You don't have to worry about a thing.
Geez, that's a big stop. I hit.
And as Abigail escapes the bug exhibit, you want to go back in there?
No.
She's not a fan of bugs. Now entering the Human History Museum. And in our area, and me being an antique dealer, I come across malls like this all the time. They're quite common. It's basically a grooved stone that you would attach a wooden handle to, and they'd use it for pounding meat and stone to tenderize it. But artifacts like this, indigenous artifacts, are somewhat common as they were used for thousands of years, so they do pop up every so often. But it's nice to be able to come to a place like this, and for me to identify what they were used for and what their proper names are too. So this is part of their collection that we actually have a connection to. A while back, we were able to purchase from the same estate, the same collection that these came from, a much larger version of the Bismarck and another larger ship in the bottle that were made by prisoners of a POW camp in southern Alberta. And you can see carved wooden ship. Prisoners spent 3,000 hours creating that model of the Bismarck. Not many people know that the survivors of the Bismarck went to England first and then were transferred over to Canada. And there were a number of survivors from that shipwreck. And many of them would take time making these little models and miniatures while they're prisoners. Many of them stayed in Canada after the war. And it's kind of neat for me to see that here it is in a museum behind double glass, and I have it at my shop where I can pick it up and look at it any time. And that's kind of neat. It says that this guitar was made using parts off of a Model T at the time, pounded the fenders into shape, and made his own guitar. That's what you did, Depression era, folks. They didn't have much to work with. You use what's lying around and you get creative. And you wanted a guitar, so you made one. If you thought banking was tough nowadays, back in the day, they would issue their members a gun because sometimes they would do transactions from a tent. The other thing I thought was cool is that the Trader Bank of Canada would give this really ornate, basically piggy bank, but it was for adults. They would keep the key, they'd give that to you for free, and then you'd bring it in and deposit your money. My bank doesn't even give me a free pen. They keep them tied down with a little string. No, I've actually sold stuff like this. That's a nice one. You push the button. And?
This is very disturbing. I'm going to leave now.
You might have thought that it would be better to use a gun to hunt back in the day than a bow and arrow. But what do you think the big disadvantage would be, Stephen, of using a gun?
I know. It takes up a lot of supplies and time.
I know.
There's that. What else?
It's too loud. It would scare off all the other animals.
That's right, yeah. So if you use a bow and arrow, then you can be silent and not scared, because if you miss with this, your supper's pretty much run away. It's gone. I was saying to Stephen, this should be his new look. Jean shirt, jean vest, jeans. All you need is like blue, yeah, Melissa calls it the Canadian tuxedo. I thought they called it the Texas tuxedo too. Yeah, maybe. If you're wearing all denim, apparently your clothes would like never wear out.
All red plaid. That's a Canadian tuxedo.
True. That's a lumberjack look. It's nice that they show some of their areas, like this is a conservation lab. I feel like I need something like one of those big portable vacuums like that to go over my work area. That'd be pretty handy to have. What's this one over here? Research lab.
Eyeballs.
Oh, they're doing, cute. Doing some taxidermy repairs. Just when we thought we were done, there's a whole upstairs too. They have the Natural History Museum up top here where we get to see fossils and skeletons and all kinds of neat stuff, and even an Allosaurus. Years ago, they thought the dinosaurs evolved from reptiles, but yet they came across this fossil and they called it a duck-billed dinosaur. Well, probably because they're related to ducks. It's no wonder that we're starting to learn more about these things, but there's so much to science and history that we don't even know now. This is Stephen's very favorite exhibit. Jason's taking a breather here, but Stephen loves rocks and fossils and minerals. So he is over there checking out the scene. And I hope they have thick glass on this case, because number 8 is a 32 karat diamond. That wouldn't be a bad thing to find. I'll have to check our couch cushions at home, make sure one didn't fall down a crack. So we found Stephen's favorite rock in this whole place. So what is it?
It's a sample of an iron meteorite that has iron crystals.
It's really cool. I'm gonna zoom in on it so we can see. And it's neat. It almost looks like, it's like a space stained glass window. Really, really neat.
What is that?
It's an
So that's it. Do you guys have fun?
Yes.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot to do. If you're ever in the Edmonton area, definitely check out the Royal Alberta Museum. It's wonderful. We have a lot of fun, and it's a great way to connect with history. So thanks for watching on today's episode. We'll see you all soon, and bye for now.